Hello, everyone. This is Charles Harper, and this is going to be a training, and this training is obviously going to be pre-recorded, and I'm not actually here to, just so you'll know, if you're typing into me, I won't be able to see you respond. And what we're going to do is rebrand the videos that are going to be step by step and over the shoulder. Now, obviously, if you don't record the video, then you're probably wondering how you're going to be able to add your own voice and to rebrand them. Traditionally, I've told people that they should not try to add their voice or try to redo them. However, you may want to do them over in your own voice, and there are a lot of different ways to do it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to start in CapCut, which is free. So CapCut does not charge you for anything, and you'll see here that I have the upgrade area, so I'm not using a paid version. And what we're going to do here is we're going to click on new video, and then we're going to upload the PLR video. So what I'm going to do here is I've already uploaded the PLR video to CapCut. And so the video is already there. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to click on that video in order to add it to this area. So I'll just click on that. And that's going to add the video. So this is a video that is a PLR video that is step by step and over the shoulder. So one of the things you're going to need to do here is you're going to need to right click this video, and you're going to notice here that the video allows you to separate the audio and video. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to separate out the audio and video. So now what I'm going to do here with the video is I'm going to delete my voiceover. So traditionally you would have this voiceover, and when you get the videos, then my voice will obviously be speaking. And again, I used to tell people, and I still do tell people, that I think that you should probably just rebrand the video by telling people that I am your assistant. But some people just don't want to do that. You want to have your video, you want to have your voice playing. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to delete that audio, and I'm going to now reprocess the video. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this video and I'm going to export it as a new video. Now, if you have another way to do this, you can do it. If you do it inside of Camtasia, you can do the same thing. So I'm just going to download this video. So again, CapCut is going to be free to use. I'm going to download the video. And typically, I would like to have this video 1080p. The frame rate can probably stay at 30. I'm going to just say rebranded video for the sake of what we're doing. And I'm going to export. And so CapCut is going to go through this process. Now, again, I'm not live, so I'm going to stop this video at this point. We're not going to watch this go all the way through. And then I'm going to come back once this is complete. Okay, so the video is downloaded. So I would click this button that says download, but it already started the download process. And I'm going to wait for this process to complete. Okay, so now I should be able to play this video. It should play without sound. So let's go ahead and play it. Okay, so the video is playing and there's no sound now. So I now have the whole MP4 video, but it doesn't have my voiceover. So now we can go and use this video and we can rebrand it. If you're old school and you use Camtasia, I still do. This is what I use to create all my videos. I can now just import that MP4 video. And this is just another way of being able to take that video and then strip out the audio. All right, so I can grab this video into Camtasia. I can then pull that video onto the timeline. You'll see the video there. And in Camtasia, what I need to do is I can then right click the video, and then there's the separate audio and video tab. I can do that. I can then delete the audio, and then I'll just have the video. So in Camtasia, you want to go ahead and save this as a project file. And then I can just export and render this video as is. So it's not going to have any sound. I'm just going to export and render the video to my hard drive. And so what I should get here is a silent video that does not play. So just as we did in CapCut, if you have something like Camtasia, you can do the same thing that I just did in CapCut, but you can also do it in Camtasia. Again, if you're old school and you like to use a desktop editor, as I do, when you're creating your videos. Okay, so just let's just make sure that the video plays without a sound, right? So it's playing and there's no sound playing. So that's what we want. So we want a video with no sound. Now I can also pull this video into Google Vids. And what I can do inside of Google Vids is I can then go to Format. I can then go to the Sound tab. I'm going to be here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this volume, I'm going to mute it, right? So now that the audio is muted, I want to reproduce the video. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to download this video muted as an MP4. So now let's test this video to see if it plays with no sound. So that's what we want. We just want to try this again inside of Google Vids. Okay, so the video is playing. It's playing without sound. So we have an MP4 of the video, the PLR video. It doesn't have any sound. So that's what we want. We want to have the video to play, but we don't want it to play with sound. So that's another way of being able to get the video down to a point where it doesn't have sound. And you can probably do this inside of Microsoft Clipchamp or any other cloud-based editor. And I think Google Vids is free or it's low cost. So if you have access to vids.google.com, you should be able to do just as I did here, put that video in there, and then do it without the sound. Okay, so now whenever we do PLR videos, we do give you the transcript. So I'm not going to show you how to get the transcript. You should have the transcript if you have any of our video courses in there. So we always provide the machine transcription. Now, the transcription is not going to be 100% accurate and 100% to your liking. And so what you want to do is you just want to look over the script and you want to make sure that it's what you want and it's going to reflect the way you want it to reflect. Now, I'm not going to go through that process here. I'm going to assume then that you will go through the transcript and that you want it. So now I'm going to copy the transcript to that video. And even though it doesn't have sound, I can now work with this particular transcript. And so there are a couple of ways to do this. One way for you to do this is to use 11 Labs. So if you want to do this in pieces, you could probably use 11 Labs. I like to use 11 Labs, but you don't have to use 11 Labs. I'll show you another way here to do this. You can just go to 11 Labs here. The best thing to do in 11 Labs is use a studio. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the studio. We're going to create a blank project, right? And so you will then highlight all of this. And what you can do is you can use any of the voices that you've already created in 11 Labs, right? And so I'm going to use this particular voice. I can use any voice. Let's say that what I want to do is I want to have a female voice, right? So let's say that I decide I want to use female voice for this video. And so there's my script. So what's going to happen is I'm going to click generate. And so 11 Labs is now going to generate the script. Now, the thing about this is that this is a piece that if you're just going to use a voice that's going to be off of the shelf from 11 Labs, you can do the same thing inside of Pictory. Now, I just want to show you how this works. Again, if you use a tool that we're about to show you, you don't have to do this portion. So let's go ahead and take the transcript and create the voiceover. And you want to listen to this in real time. And so the benefit of using 11 Labs and to do this in pieces is that you're going to be able to hear the script in one time and make corrections. So let's go ahead and just click generate. And let's see how it comes out.
Hello and welcome. Now in this video, we're going to turn our information into an infographic. Using Notebook LM, we can click on Create a new notebook. We can then upload a document. You will then see your document within Notebook LM. And one of the things that you will notice is that if you have the document selected, what you can do is you can click on Infographic in order to create an infographic. You can then prompt the infographic. You can determine what orientation that you want it to be, what level of detail you want it to be. And for the sake of this video, we're going to make it detailed, and then we can describe the infographic that we want. And once you do that, you can then click Generate. Another way to create an image is to use the slide deck. So if we have our document selected, we can then click on slide deck. We can then determine what kind of deck that we want. We can then write in a description. And we are now going to click generate. And we're now going to also generate a slide deck. And so now both elements are now complete. We can now take a look at the slide presentation. And remember, what we asked for was one slide. So we can see how the slide was created, and we can click on this one slide. Now, when you download the slide, obviously it's going to download into a format. In this case, it's going to download to a PDF. Now, the infographic, you can click on it. You'll then see the infographic when you download it. It's going to download into a PNG file. So you'll see that here you'll be able to save it to your hard drive. So you can use Notebook LM as a representative of your information and turn it into an infographic using the infographic tab and the slide deck tab. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.
Okay, so I think that's good enough, right? So I don't see anything here that I would go back and regenerate. So 11 Labs does a pretty good job. I'm going to go ahead and export this audio, and I'm going to export this as an MP3 file. And once I export it as an MP3 file, then I'm ready to go on to the next step. So you may have another audio app that you like better, and if it produces the audio that you want, you can do that. I probably should have not. Let's name this so it'll create the right file. I'm just going to call this rebranded video, and then when I click rebranded video, I'm going to export it again. And the reason I'm going to do it again, just so the file will be named what I want it to be named. So it's now going to be rebranded video. Now, I don't necessarily like the volume on that, but I can make changes in the video creation process. I'm going to go ahead and download this MP3 file. I'm going to download the 11 Labs file. Okay, so now we have our audio. So now what we can do now is we can go to the video creator. Now I'm going to use Pictory AI, and now that's a choice that I like. I personally like this one best. You may have one that you like better. And what I like about Pictory is that it does a good job of matching audio to text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Pictory, and we're just going to take a look at Pictory. Okay, so I'm here inside of Pictory, and we're going to use text to video. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to take that transcript that I did, right? We're just going to take that transcript, we're going to copy it, and we're going to put it inside of Pictory, right? And so we're just going to call this rebranded video. You would name the title appropriately. Now, inside of Pictory, I'm going to do this in a specific way. Now, I'm going to do a widescreen video for this, and because our video is widescreen, so I'm going to keep it widescreen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that these highlight keywords with AI, that's turned off. Select visual with AI, that's turned off. I'm going to reduce this down to one max line. And so then I'm going to then click create or generate video. And I'm going to choose no layout. So I'm not going to use a theme for this. So Pictory will give you themes. I'm not going to choose a theme. And I'm going to let Pictory go ahead and create the video storyboard. Now there is a process that I'm going to follow in Pictory, and this is not something they recommend that you do. So just be aware of that they would probably frown on me doing this. So I'm gonna link all of the scenes, and you'll see why I'm doing that here in a minute. We're gonna link all the scenes together. And we're going to just go through each one of these. We're going to link them all together. And we're going to hope that our video it's going to be the right length. We hope it's going to be about the right length. And there are things we can do and if that is not the case, but we need to see how close our voiceover is going to match, right? So let's do that. So to put all the scenes together. Now, if you wanna, you don't have to have this at the bottom. You don't have to have the words to play at the bottom. You don't have to have that. So that's a choice. You could just delete this, right? You could just let the video play because maybe you don't want that. So again, so we could delete this and then apply that to all the scenes. I'm going to leave this in here just for the sake of doing this. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to upload that video. So remember the video we created, um, which is the video. I'm now going to upload that video here to Pictory. So let's go ahead and I'm going to take and that, I want this one that doesn't have sound, right? So let's go ahead. Okay, so we have that entire video. And let's go ahead and put that video in here. And basically, one of the reasons why we linked those scenes is because now it's going to adjust to this entire video. Now the key is how well the audio matches. And so if we don't have a great audio match, then it's going to show up. But there are things that we can do. So I'm going to take out the music. I don't like music in our videos. Now let's say that you know you you want to put music in the videos that we give you, right? So you could do that if you use Pictory. I'm not saying that you got to go out and get Pictory. I think it's the best of the video creators for the purposes of communicating information, right? So let's now go get to the uploads. I'm going to upload that audio that we created in 11 Labs, right? So there's a 11 Labs audio. I'm now going to upload that to Pictory. And now is where uh, if there's any magic to this process, this is where we want Pictory. So here's what's going to happen now. Pictory is going to match the audio, and it's going to immediately go to preview, right? And so one thing, let's say I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I like to have this style. I'm going to apply this style to all the scenes, right? It's just a personal thing, right? I just like to do that because this shows up best and it's going to actually have the words right there. So, and okay, so here's what we now have. We're now going to match this audio, go to uploads, and we're going to apply this to the entire video, right? So let's go ahead and apply it. It's going to sync it, right? So this is the AI, what the AI does. The AI does functionally for us when you are rebranding this video. So it's going to go immediately into a preview, and we'll watch the preview to see how well the video turns out. So again, this is a rebranding process if you wanted to add a female voice to the video.
Hello and welcome. Now in this video, we're going to turn our information into an infographic. Using Notebook LM, we can click on Create a New Notebook. We can then upload a document. You will then see your document within Notebook LM. And one of the things that you will notice is that if you have the document selected, what you can do is you can click on Infographic in order to create an infographic. You can then prompt the infographic. You can determine what orientation that you want it to be, what level of detail you want it to be. And for the sake of this video, we're going to make it detailed, and then we can describe the infographic that we want. And once you do that, you can then click Generate. Another way to create an image is to use the slide deck. So if we have our document selected, we can then click on slide deck. We can then determine what kind of deck that we want. We can then write in a description. And we are now going to click Generate. And we're now going to also generate a slide deck. And so now both elements are now complete. We can now take a look at the slide presentation. And remember, what we asked for was one slide. So we can see how the slide was created and we can click on this one slide. Now, when you download the slide, obviously it's going to download into a format. In this case, it's going to download to a PDF. Now, the infographic, you can click on it. You'll then see the infographic when you download it. It's going to download into a PNG file. So you'll see that here you'll be able to save it to your hard drive. So you can use Notebook LM as a representative of your information and turn it into an infographic using the infographic tab and the slide deck tab. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.
Okay, so it's not perfect. And so that's how you would do it in Pictory. So I'm going to do the same thing in Camtasia. And if I were doing it personally, I would do it in Camtasia. Now, again, Pictory makes it easy, right? And if you don't have Camtasia, don't have a video editor like Camtasia, and not know that everybody uses it, does enough video to, pay the, I don't know, 300 some odd dollars for Camtasia. And I get that. So Pictory is a little less than that on a monthly basis. You can just do it when you have a project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Camtasia and I'm going to go back to that project, right? And see if we can get a better match by using Camtasia, right? So if I open up Camtasia, what I'm going to do is, let's get Camtasia open. It's going to open up that video file. And so what I can do now is I can go get that voiceover. So I'm going to import that voiceover, right? I'm going to get that media. And where's that? Right? I'm going to get that 11 Labs voiceover. And I'm going to bring that onto the timeline. And see, this is why it's not a match. So you'll see that the voiceover is way faster than the video. So that's why it didn't match in Pictory. Now, what we could do, we could do one of two things. We could lengthen this and then rerun it, but let's do this. Let's see what this video clip is. I'm going to click on Add Clip Speed. That's going to tell me how uh, how long the video clip is. So it's 2 minutes, 6 seconds, and 21 frames. So what I need to do now is I need to match this with the same thing. So so the audio needs to be 2 minutes, 6 seconds, and 21 frames. So let's do that. So let's make that 2 minutes, 6 seconds, and 21 frames. Right? So now both are an exact match for this. And so now what we should see is a better match, right? So I'm going to stop the video sort of here. I'm going to just reprocess this video so we can see if it's a better match than it was inside of Pictory. And I'm going to process this as we'll just call this match so we can see how it does. Okay, so let's take a look at the video and see if it's a better match and if the audio is not off since we had to slow it down.
Now in this video, we're going to turn our information into an infographic. Using Notebook LM, we can click on Create a New Notebook. We can then upload a document. You will then see your document within Notebook LM. And one of the things that you will notice is that if you have the document selected, what you can do is you can click on Infographic in order to create an infographic. You can then prompt the infographic. You can determine what orientation that you want it to be, what level of detail you want it to be. And for the sake of this video, we're going to make it detailed, and then we can describe the infographic that we want. And once you do that, you can then click Generate. Another way to create an image is to use the slide deck. So if we have our document selected, we can then click on slide deck. We can then determine what kind of deck that we want. We can then write in a description. And we are now going to click Generate. and we're now going to also generate a slide deck. And so now both elements are now complete. We can now take a look at the slide presentation. And remember, what we asked for was one slide. So we can see how the slide was created, and we can click on this one slide. Now, when you download the slide, obviously it's going to download into a format. In this case, it's going to download to a PDF. Now, the infographic, you can click on it. You'll then see the infographic when you download it. It's going to download into a PNG file. So you'll see that here you'll be able to save it to your hard drive. So you can use Notebook LM as a representative of your information and turn it into an infographic using the infographic tab and the slide deck tab. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.
Okay, so you can see that was a better match. So the easier way to get a great match when you're going to get a an audio is that where you're going to do the audio um, is to use Camtasia. Now, there's another way to do this, right? So let's close out of this. Let's close out of Camtasia. And let's go back now to Pictory. All right, did I close Pictory? Let's go back to that. So let's go through that same process. Let's go text to video. Let's get that transcript. And let's now call this rebranded 2. And I'm going to do the same thing. No scene settings on these last two. Going to leave the lines the same thing. Let's click generate video. Let's do no theme. And then let's let Pictory go ahead and bring up the scenes. Now I still want to use I still want to use a voiceover, but this time one of the things that Pictory does is it allows you to have access to 2 hours of 11 labs. So in most cases, as long as you know that your transcript is accurate. Now what I don't have to do here is I probably still want to uh, link these scenes, right? Because again, the uh, the video is actually not timed to these elements. So I still need to do this part of it, right? I still need to link these scenes. And again, now if you go to their help screen, they'll tell you um, that they don't necessarily think that this is a good way to do it. Right now, I found that for what I want to do, it's the only way I can do what I want to do. Um, so I do link the scenes. So all the scenes do have to be linked. So I'm going to link them all, right? I'm going to make sure they're all linked. So all the scenes are now linked, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my visual again. I'm going to go back to the uploads. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this to the first scene. Oh, and well, let's go ahead and do the style again. Apply that to all the scenes. Okay, so that's that. I'm now going to, and I do want to do it in this order, and you'll see why that is here in a minute. So now, now all the scenes are linked. I'm going to take that and I'm going to apply that to all the scenes. Right? And I think you probably understand now why the scenes have to be linked and you don't want it to break up. Because what it would do is if I didn't link the scenes, what it would do is it would play 30 seconds here, then go and start again. It would play 30 seconds here and then start again. So that's not what we want. We want to just play all the way through consecutively inside of Pictory. So now instead of using that 11 Labs voice, right? So I'm going to turn off the music. And instead of using the 11 Labs voice, I'm going to find a voice that I like. right? So let's say that let's test Abby, right? I've heard that Annabelle is good. So let's listen to Annabelle.
The beginning of knowledge is the discovery of something we do not understand.
All right, let's listen to
The
Abby.
only thing to do with good advice is to pass it on.
It's a little nasal. I don't necessarily like that one.
Sometimes it is better to lose and do the right.
It's a little breathy for me. You may like it, but that's a little, I don't necessarily like the breathiness.
The beginning of knowledge is the discovery of something we.
Okay, so I still like Annabelle, and I don't want to take up your time by going through all these voices. So I'm going to go ahead and just click generate and apply. And what we're getting 11 Labs to do is what we're getting Pictory to do is to match this, right? So hopefully we get a better match. Now again, we do have Camtasia to do this, so it's going to go through this process and it's going to measure and it's going to take a little bit. So you'll see this is on 5 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and stop this. I'm not going to make you watch this all the way to 100%. And I'm just going to stop the video here. I'll pick it up when this is, it's actually complete. Okay, so it's uploaded. So it's applied. Okay, so typically it'll go through uh, a preview process. So let's go ahead now and preview the video and see if it matches well.
Hello and welcome. Now, in this video, we're going to turn our information into an infographic. Using Notebook LM, we can click on Create a new notebook. We can then upload a document. You will then see your document within Notebook LM. And one of the things that you will notice is that if you have the document selected, what you can do is you can click on Infographic in order to create an infographic. You can then prompt the infographic. You can determine what orientation that you want it to be, what level of detail you want it to be, and for the sake of this video, we're going to make it detailed and then we can describe the infographic that we want. And once you do that, you can then click Generate. Another way to create an image is to use the slide deck. So if we have our document selected, we can then click on Slide Deck. We can then determine what kind of deck that we want. We can then write in a description, and we are now going to click Generate. And we're now going to also generate a slide deck. And so now both elements are now complete. We can now take a look at the slide presentation. And remember, what we asked for was one slide. So we can see how the slide was created, and we can click on this one slide. Now, when you download the slide, obviously it's going to download into a format. In this case, it's going to download to a PDF. Now, the infographic, you can click on it. You'll then see the infographic when you download it. It's going to download into a PNG file. So you'll see that here you'll be able to save it to your hard drive. So you can use Notebook LM as a representative of your information and turn it into an infographic using the infographic tab and the slide deck tab. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.
Okay, so you can see now that the best of all worlds is to go old school and to physically match that the timing. And so basically, just to kind of close out this, let's close out a Pictory. Pictory is good for some things, and I use it for some things, but I think that the best way to rebrand and to use an AI voice, or even if you're going to match a voiceover that you do, is going to be to use, again, to just do it old school and to use Camtasia. And I know that, it's in the age of AI, it's not a very, I don't know, exciting thing, but I think it is best. And remember what we did, right? So we looked at the length of this, which is the video. Now we could speed this clip up, right? We could speed it up for the audio, but we applied the clip speed, right? Clip speed. We determined what that clip speed was. In this case, it was 2 minutes, 6 seconds, and 21 frames. We then went to the audio, and then we applied the clip speed, right? So we did the same thing. We made that 2 minutes, 6 seconds, and 21. So what that did, it slowed down the audio, right? So that made a fairly slow audio, but it matches, right? It matches the video, and the video that we produce is pretty much in sync to the process. And so let's go back to that video and we'll close out by matching this session. I do want to Before I do that, I do want to remind you that our Black Friday Cyber Monday sale, you can get it at the plrshow.com/new. And depending on when you see this video, you can get all of our System.io videos, which is 9 courses with resale rights and then another 3 with unrestricted rights in one bundle. And it is at a special price. And I did record. Okay, so that closes out this training. I hope that it is helpful for you and that you enjoyed it. And share the video with other people. So thanks and have a great night.